channel. This is just going to be a very short video, but it's going to be the difference between a Sidewinder EP3 and a log manifold EP3. Now, we do cast log manifolds and we do fabricated log manifolds, and we also do obviously the Sidewinder builds. Now, luckily, I've just finished a Sidewinder build, and luckily our build that we had from 2.5 years ago has come back in just to have some gauges rewired and a new steering wheel. So I've got them side by side. The Sidewinder makes 414 horsepower. The fabricated log manifold makes 404. Sidewinder makes 325 foot-pound of torque, and the log manifold makes 267, I think, foot-pound of torque. So there is a torque difference, only 10 horsepower in it roughly in brake horsepower. However, what I want to do is show you both under the bonnet and discuss how they drive. Right, so firstly, the sort of spec differences. Gauges, boost and oil pressure gauge. This is I'm in the Sidewinder build now, but I'll show you this from the outside. Right, so let's get into the spec. It's got TR fuel rail, pressure gauge, grams 1000cc injectors, Skunk 2 Ultra, Tegu 70mm throttle body, Skunk 2 4-bar map sensor. It's got our own vacuum block. It has a Garrett GT30 Turbo, not Garrett, that was a load of shit. It's a Max Speedrods GT30 Turbo, HVAB manifold, Turbo Smart 45mm wastegate, heat grade 8 spark plugs. It's got AN6 fuel line that goes through a Curity adapter at the back, and it's also got a stage 4 competition clutch and M Factory race pack LSD. Like I say, it makes 414 horsepower. It is a bonnet exit. Runs one of our own intercoolers, which is a smaller one than what we normally use, but like I say, more than up to the job. Also is running an M2 Motorsport radiator, and not gonna lie, it does feel like a bit of a handful to drive. Ready? It's also got yellow speed coilovers, yellow speed big brake kit, but it's a very quick car. I'm not going to pretend that it's a slow car or that it could do with more power, because really I think this is about the limit of drivability. If you watch our budget build Sidewinder kit, this was it, but I didn't get to video everything I wanted to. It also, I forgot to say, it also runs a Cytec 340 fuel pump, but yeah, it is what it is. It's a good car. The kit we don't provide the Skunk 2 and the 70mm throttle body with the kit, but if they fitted there for you to have fitted, we will fit them. Do all the rest. Like, we've fitted polyurethane engine mounts to this, we've fitted the Skunk 2, we've fitted the throttle body, obviously, and the K Pro, that's the management on it. Yeah, this is the Sidewinder build, and 414 horsepower, 325 foot-pound of torque, and I'll put the picture of the dyno graph on the screen now. Right, so now I'm in the passenger side of the fabricated log manifold. As you can see, gauge pod, oil pressure and boost gauge in it. As per, this is also mapped, I think this is mapped on K100 actually, not K Pro, but it has been mapped twice. Now, I'll show you that. Right, so luckily, previous owner left in the dyno sheet from when it was mapped on a cast log manifold, which it made 376 horsepower and 244 foot-pound of torque, which pretty good, I suppose. Seems to be pretty good. But yeah, Then the customer wanted to go faster, and basically we put a fabricated log manifold on, and it made 404 horsepower and 265 foot-pound of torque on the fabricated log manifold. Now, do you feel the torque difference between the fabricated log manifold and the Sidewinder? Yes, the Sidewinder is more torquey. However, this does spool up a lot faster. Right, so spec list on this. It's got a Skunk 2 racing fuel rail, Bosch 1000cc injectors, RBC, take it with 70mm throttle body, speed factory 4-bar map sensor, one of our vac blocks, ready dump valve, max speed rods GT3 Turbo, so they both run the same turbo. Obviously this is on a fabricated log manifold. 3-inch downpipe, can't remember what filter it is, AEM dry flow filter, again competition stage 4 clutch, and M factory race pack. This runs though our bigger intercooler. I mean, it's a bit battered now because of black starting to go white. I think actually it was silver and he painted it black, but it's a fair whack of a size intercooler. Like I say, and this made 404 horsepower, 265 foot-pound of torque, or whatever I've just said on that dyno printout. But the difference between them it's strange. Yeah, right. So customers allowed us to go out and take the log manifold out for a drive, just so I can sort of show you now. As you see, inside the car there's no loud noise, it's just like driving like normal. It's basically just feels like a normal EP3 to drive when you've not put the power down. But what it does compared to the other one is the power comes in a lot quicker than the Sidewinder, which I will show along this road, and just seems to be decent. And it obviously sounds awesome as well. But yeah, this is basically how the log manifold is. Yeah, it's a pretty good car to drive on the road, that's for sure. But I don't feel like like I said, I don't feel like I'm fighting it or anything like I do with the other ones. It does have the LSD. You do at high speeds have a bit of drag across the road, but other than that, it's good for an everyday drive. Right, so if it was me, and not looking at it as from someone who builds them or anything like that, if it was me who was driving them every day, I'd probably go for the log manifold one, because the exhaust routed back in, the downpipes routed back into the exhaust. It's not that antisocial, and it's fast. It does spool up very fast. It's more of a road drivable car. However, saying that, if I just want to go out and have a good colonal cleanse, then definitely the Sidewinder, because when it comes on boost, it chucks you about. You do go in a straight line, but it feels completely different. I don't know how to describe it. The log manifold feels like it's a fast spooling turbo. The Sidewinder feels a little bit more laggy, but when the boost hits, the torque hits you as well, and the difference in torque is very, very noticeable. So for day-to-day driving, log manifold, if you just want to all out kick a car's head in, then 100% the Sidewinder. Again, the price differences, these two are quite close together, because the log manifold is almost the same price as the Sidewinder, should I say. It's about £450 for a fabricated log manifold. Sidewinders are like 650, 700, depending on where you're getting them from. The downpipe as well, the cost, again, is very, very similar between both of them. If you have a bonnet exit, it's slightly cheaper, but depends what you're using the car for. You will get pulled off the police, let's be honest, if you've got fucking flames shooting out your bonnet. But how many of us car people really give a shit about the police? But I'll put in some little clips of the Sidewinder manifold driving. Like I say, I've got none of the log manifold. I'm not going to abuse a customer's car without the permission or anything like that. So unfortunately, I don't have any of them. I will, however, get some videos inside another log manifold that we did, just so you can hear the noises, sort of see what the spill's like on them. It's not going to be a fair comparison really on the videos, because that other one is 40 horsepower more than the other the other cast log manifold that we did, who comes to us all the time. You never know, the customer might send us a video to be able to put in this channel. If not, yeah, that's sort of me thoughts on it. Our prices for the Sidewinder manifold, that's £5,800. That includes your ECU, mapping, clutch, and then the turbo kit. Anything extra like an LSD, inlet, intake, manifold, throttle body, that would be added on extra. The gauges we don't fit as part of the kit, but you can upgrade and get them fitted for, I think it's an extra £60 that we charge. The gauges, again, they are just our own sort of generic gauges. They nothing flash, none of these depot gauges or anything that's silly expensive. They're just gauges that we've fitted previously to other cars that work and we've had no issues with. Give a fairly accurate reading. It'd be more for sure, because 90% of people who buy these or get these done don't fully understand what the gauges are reading and mean anyway. But yeah, they are there. Like I say, it's always an oil pressure and it's always a boost gauge. Boost gauge because everyone asks for it, and oil pressure because you kind of want to know if any oil line splits or something like that. Do I recommend an LSD in them? Is another thing. Yes, but I have me little opinion on the LSDs. There's nothing wrong with the LSDs or anything like that. Just as a road car, I feel like when you've got the LSD fitted, perfect for setting off, coming around corners, everything like that. But when you're up there and doing some speed, it sort of feels like it drags you about a bit more than I would have liked, where I don't normally feel that with an open diff one. Like I say, with both of these two are LSDs and I can feel it, but then when I drive Aaron's, which is another log manifold EP3, it feels like it doesn't pull you as much at higher speeds. Now, that might just be the setups on the cars. I don't know, because we didn't set either of them, like any of them up. So I couldn't tell you on that. But that's my opinion when I keep on driving these over and over again. I don't know which one I would prefer. I think the log manifolds, I find, have better heat management, as in it doesn't seem to anything is there to sort of catch on fire. It sits in the same place as what an OEM manifold would sit. Obviously the turbo is a little bit hotter and we put a little bit of heat shield in, but realistically you don't need that for a log manifold. You can also run the stock fuel line as it goes nowhere near the heat. Where with the Sidewinder you've got to literally just cover everything in heat protection, because the heat that comes under the bonnet on the Sidewinders is just phenomenal compared to log manifold. Again, bonnet exit sort of relieves a bit of that heat because it's got none of the 3-inch downpipe going down the back of the car. It's going straight out the bonnet. However, then you've also got the risk of, now you've got the flames so close to, like, it's just there under the bonnet, burns the underside of the bonnet, it burns the top of the bonnet. It's just one of them things. You can't build this and expect this to be an all-out daily driving car unless you go log manifold and sort of cap the power at like 350 to 370. Then you can probably drive them every single day, like Aaron does. I'll put some videos in of his. But he drives his every single day to work and back from Newcastle to Sunderland, and he never has an issue. However, Aaron doesn't have turbo smart wastegate on his. Aaron went for a Pulsar wastegate, and I've got I can't fault Pulsar turbos or anything like that, but I can fault the wastegates. The wastegates were crap. There's no way of saying it. every single wastegate that we sold, got returned, and there's nothing else I can say. They have stopped selling the wastegates in the UK now, so yeah. But the turbo's phenomenal. Wastegates, like I say, they've stopped selling them, so clearly there was an issue with them. And Aaron's he's on his fourth not Turbo Smart Pulsar wastegate, and if it goes again, then we're going to just put Turbo Smart on it. That's Aaron's choice. That's not our choice. That they were a cheaper option at the time. We want to go with the cheaper option with he had the Pulsar Turbo, the Pulsar wastegate, and like I say, his made good power as well. His made 360, but we did cap that at that, since it's been his daily driver. And other than the wastegate doing a shit every now and again, the car's actually drove and been phenomenal for well over a year now. Okay. Just the noise, man. That one, the fabricated log manifold, he's had that 2.5 year. Again, never missed a beat. And that's been on track as well. I think that did a track day at Cadwell Park. And it's been spot on. Now, what I have noticed as well is everyone who seems to get a turbo kit with us also upgrades the brakes further down the line, or does it while it's in. Do I recommend it? 100% yes. Not because you're going to be braking any harsher or anything like that, but you do find that you're braking from higher speeds, which bigger discs, bigger calipers, more pots in the calipers, better pads is obviously going to help. You can get away with just upgrading the discs and pads on the standard EP3, no problem, but just be mindful of how fast your car will brake fade and stuff like that. If you're on the road, realistically, you shouldn't be driving it so your brakes are fading, but I know what people are like in these. They get them and bash them up to silly speeds, forget that there's corners, harsh on the brakes, and end up cooking the brakes. So if you are looking to turbo, it's definitely something I'll also look into. Again, we don't now on log manifolds, especially if we cap them at 360, we don't fit clutches anymore. Or if we do, it's just an OEM X80 clutch, because we found that can take up to 400 horsepower, bizarrely, but it seems to go really well. If you've seen our budget build, you've seen that we never changed the clutch, and that made 360 horsepower, and it didn't flacker the clutch, and it's still going as far as I'm aware. So yeah, the clutch is only an option for the Sidewinder or fabricated log manifold now. Competition stage 4 clutch, I keep on getting asked over and over again, what's it feel like? Now, it doesn't actually add any weight to the clutch. The clutch itself is no different to what they normally feel like. It just feels like a normal clutch. However, it is more grabby, so when you're setting away, you can feel the clutch is more jerky than a standard clutch. But as for heaviness, I'm sat in the car pressing it now, as if you can see, but there's absolutely no difference. So it's definitely the clutch to go for. I've tried other ones, I've tried Action, I've tried XTD, nothing wrong with them at all, but the feel is different, and my preference is the competition clutch, and it's my preference to put in customers' cars as well, because it's, like I say, it's easier to live with, or it feels like it's easier. Now, I know people might jump on it and say, oh, my competition clutch was horrible, all the rest. I don't know if they changed the design to what they originally were, but I've had a competition clutch in every EP3 that I've owned, every EP3 that I've built, my 370Z and my Nissan Skyline, and all the clutches have been really light, really drivable, and they've all been stage 4s or stage 3s, and I've never had an issue with them. So I'm going from not just customer experience on customer's car, from my own personal cars to live with, and I can't fault the clutches themselves. As I said, I've tried all the other clutches on different cars, and that's the one that I've sort of settled with and happy to sell on. But yeah, hopefully in the next few days we should have more videos, more turbo builds, and get the channel back up and going properly, because I just sort of had a period where I just stopped and just had too much shit jobs on in the garage to bother with the exciting stuff like turbo builds. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, and the more people that come and go on our website, the more builds we do, the more content we put out. So yeah, cheers.